We have done a couple of videos around adulteration and different coconut oil varieties. So everywhere we have referred to some of the basics of oils and fats. So I thought it's a good idea to get into the basics, fundamentals about oils and fats, look at the larger perspective where, say, our brand fits into, where the coconut oil category fits into, and then we move on to more educational videos around coconut oil. So the whole oils and fats is fundamentally about providing nutrition. So if we look at the basics of nutrition, nutrition is the biochemical process by which our body obtains and utilizes food for energy, growth, and cellular repair. So it is basically a raw material for the body to function. The body functions in the form of doing physical activities, mental activities, growing, developing the organs, and maintenance, repair and maintenance of cells and organs. So there are six types of nutrients. They are categorized into macronutrients and micronutrients. So whatever is required in larger quantities in our body are the macronutrients, and whatever is required in the smaller quantities are micronutrients. So the macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Micronutrients are vitamins, minerals, and water. So let us look at the role of each one of them in little more detail. So the most important one is the carbohydrate, which is the energy source for all our body functions. So each gram of carbohydrate has about 4 calories of energy in it. It is a hydrocarbon, so it has carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. It can be simple carbohydrate like sugars, and it can be complex carbohydrates. The sources of which are, say, all over rice, wheat, sugar, fruits, vegetables are the sources of carbohydrates. Then comes the protein. Protein and nitrogen, the amino acids are the basics of protein. And protein is a much more complex polymer uh, based out of amino acids. The function of protein is to build the body, that is, build muscles. The calorific value again is same as carbohydrate, which is 4 calories per gram. Then comes the fat. So fat is again a hydrocarbon, which is around carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The fat is the storage of energy. It's much more efficient. It holds 9 calories per gram, unlike carbohydrates and proteins, which hold 4 calories per gram. The fat has many more functions, which we'll look into detail later. And if we look at the micronutrients, vitamins, so they are again organic compounds. They help the different functions of the body. There are about 13 vitamins. So they can be classified into water soluble and oil soluble vitamins. So oil soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Now these can be absorbed into the body only if there is oil, because they are oil soluble. Now water soluble vitamins, they need to be consumed again and again because it is not stored inside the body. It goes off along with urine when the water is discharged. Oil soluble vitamins, they get stored. So this is one of the roles of uh, oil in the absorption of micronutrients like vitamins. Then we have minerals. Minerals are inorganic in nature. That is, they don't have carbon, hydrogen. They are about potassium, magnesium, calcium, iron, and so on. So they are also required in small quantities in traces to our body for its functioning. Then water, which is again a very vital form of nutrition. It has no energy or calories in itself. 70% of our body is water. It helps in the transportation of the nutrients along the veins and arteries in the blood. So, having covered the nutrients in basics, so let's get deeper into the nutrient that we are all most interested in, which is the fat. There's a common perception that fat is very bad. We should not take. It is not entirely true. Excess of fat is bad. Uh, Fat is required to some extent because fat has these vital functions. As I explained, it's about energy storage. So any excess calories that the body has absorbed will be stored in the form of fat for future use. So whenever our energy reserves have depleted, it is from the fat that the body use. Fat or lipids, they form the cell membrane. It acts as a barrier for entry of outside particles into the cell. Cells are the basic building blocks of a human body. There are about 3,600 crore cells in a human body. Uh, Fats are also required for the brain function. 60% of the dry weight of human brain is fat. Fat also provides energy for the brain function in the form of ketones. Then brain signals to the various parts of the body for the body organs to perform. So this is in the form of hormones. Hormones are signals, and the appropriate organs can understand the hormones, can receive the hormones, and act according to the signal released by the brain. These hormones are secreted from fat. Like I said, the oil soluble vitamins are absorbed into the body through fats. Is this oil or fat? Let us look into the chemistry of it. That is the basics. What forms a fat molecule? So, fat is essentially a triglyceride. So, we have glycerol, which holds three fatty acids, three fatty acid molecules into it. So, glycerol is an alcohol. It's a tri-alcohol, which has three hydroxyl groups. So, OH, OH, OH. It combines with fatty acids. So, fatty acids, they are organic acids with a certain length of carbon chain. So, for different lengths of carbon chain, we have different fatty acids. Uh, Glycerol combines with three fatty acids. Water is released in the process by the combination of the hydroxyl groups. This is the triglyceride. So we come across this term called free fatty acids. So free fatty acids are the fatty acids that are released from the triglyceride due to the act of, say, moisture, sunlight, heat, and other deterioration processes with the passage of time. The more the free fatty acids, lesser is the quality. So a fresh edible oil has minimum free fatty acids. So we have different types of oils based on the lengths of the carbon chain in the fatty acids. The basic triglyceride structure is the same. So I have talked about fatty acid. So let's look into the molecular formula of the fatty acid. So fatty acid comes in two types. One is saturated fatty acid. Second is unsaturated fatty acid. So what is this saturated and unsaturated? Carbon has a valency of 4. Hydrogen has a valency of 1. A carbon can be surrounded by 4 hydrogen atoms. If the hydrogen atoms are there surrounding the carbon atoms, then it is saturated. Now, if there is an absence of a hydrogen atom, then the carbon atom forms a double bond with the adjacent carbon atom. And when there is a double bond, it is unsaturated. When it is not fully saturated with hydrogen, then it is unsaturated. A saturated fatty acid is a very stable structure. Now, in unsaturated, there are multiple categories. So, one is cis and trans. So, if the hydrogen atoms surrounding carbon are in the same plane, then it is a cis formation. So, it has a kink kind of a structure, a bend structure, and this is what makes oil a liquid. So, it reduces the molecular density, and in the room temperatures, oil becomes a liquid due to the presence of unsaturated fats in the cis formation. Another transformation, where the hydrogen atoms are in different planes. Very dangerous kind of unsaturated into a body. This can lead to heart congestion, different cardiovascular diseases. During hydrogenation process in the making of vanaspati, we can have these trans fats also. That's why FSSAI made it mandatory to declare the amount of trans fats in any food item. Another variation is in the different lengths of the carbon chain. So it can be short chain if it is less than 6 carbon atoms. It can be medium chain if it is 6 to 12. It can be long chain if it is greater than 12. So these are the various classifications in terms of lengths of the carbon chain. In unsaturated fatty acid, there is another classification based on the degree of unsaturation. That is, if the number of double bonds is 1, then it is monounsaturated. If there are multiple, then they are polyunsaturated. FSSAI has mandated the declaration of the extent of monounsaturated and polyunsaturated cholesterols, etc., in an edible oil package. So the acid is finally about COOH. So that is the final carbon atom having a double bond with an oxygen. Oxygen has a valency of 2, then with an hydroxyl group which is OH, that is a valency of 1. So I have used the terms oils and fats interchangeably, but inherently there is a difference. So let's look into the difference between oils and fats. We refer to oil which is liquid at room temperature, and what is solid at room temperature we refer to as fat. So the oils that we refer to are, say, vegetable oils, coconut oil, sunflower oil, palm oil, etc. And fats are nothing but, say, butter, ghee, animal fat. So oils are from vegetable source, fats are generally from animal source. Now, coconut oil is somewhere in between. It is from a vegetable source, but it is closer to the animal fat. Oil is less saturated. It is mostly unsaturated. So that's why it is liquid at room temperature. Fat is molecularly more dense and it is solid at room temperature because it is almost fully saturated. Look at the different varieties of edible oils that are in use and look at their position in the global consumption range. We have palm oil, which is the most used edible oil in the world. It comes at the least cost. Tropical countries like Indonesia and Malaysia are the major producers of oil palm. It has among the best uh, productivity or yield per unit area among all the oil seeds. So globally, it has a 35% share, and in India, 40% of oil consumed is in the form of palm oil. Next oil is the soya bean oil. So this is majorly produced in the South American countries. Uh, Globally, it is used to the extent of 28%, and in India, to a slightly lower extent of 20%. Then it is the sunflower oil. So Russia and Ukraine are the major producers of sunflower oil. Due to the war tensions between those two countries in the last 3 years, there has been a huge disruption in the supply of sunflower oil to the world. India uses about 10% of overall edible oil consumption is sunflower oil. Then groundnut oil, wherever the groundnut grows naturally in those regions, oil is extracted from groundnuts or peanuts and used as groundnut oil. It is very proficient in, say, states of Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. Then we have oils like cotton seed oil, palm kernel oil, and coconut oil. Coconut oil, it is again a tropical crop and it is used in, say, coastal regions like Kerala, coastal Karnataka, parts of Tamil Nadu. So coconut oil is not only a cooking oil, but it is used as a hair oil across the country. Olive oil is also used in parts of Europe and the rest of the world in smaller quantities. So Now, coming to India specifically, we have mustard oil, so, uh, which is used in North India like Rajasthan, the sarson ka tel. Now, if we see the share of oils, now the top few oils are all refined oils. So refined oil has a 80% share, and filtered oils has a 15 to 20% share. So mustard oil is the one which is holding the share of filtered oils. Otherwise, the consumption has all gone towards refined oil. Rice bran is another oil which is extracted from the husk of rice. India is a major producer and a consumer of rice, and there is a lot of rice bran oil available. It is used for cooking as well as for lighting lamps. Some areas of Tamil Nadu uses sesame oil or a gingerly oil or till oil. So the word oil or tela in Sanskrit comes from tila. So tila is till. So the most ancient form of oil is till oil. Now coconut oil and till oil are the two oils which can be absorbed into the body. So that's why all the skin-based, muscle-based value-added oils has coconut oil and till oil as the base. So what are these different oil types? So we have four types of oils. Crude oil. Crude oil means that oil which is immediately available after extraction from the oil seed. So crude oil has certain impurities like the oil seeds particles, moisture, pigments, wax, and so on. So that has to be purified. So there are two ways to purify. One is to simple filtration, where the solids are separated from the liquid, which is the oil. Filtration is a good process when the quality of oil seed is good and the crude oil is good. So, say the oils like coconut oil, gingerly oil, groundnut oil, mustard oil, they are used in the filtered form. They don't have to undergo refining. Now, when the source of oil seed is not very good, that the quality is not fit for consumption. For example, a sunflower oil or a palm oil. So then it has to undergo refining, where more sophisticated chemical purification happens. So this purification is about refining, where the excess free fatty acid is neutralized with the base of potassium hydroxide. The bad odor is removed through deodorization by heating to high temperature. The excess color is removed in the form of bleaching, where the oil is passed through a bleaching earth, and the wax is removed to dewaxing and degumming. This is the refining process, which is a highly processed form of oil. But functionally, refined oil performs better because it has a higher smoke point and it can be used more number of times than a filtered oil. But filtered oil has the natural characteristics of the oil seed, that is the aroma, taste, the micronutrients, flavor, and so on. The last variety is the hydrogenated oil. Ghee is a very important fat source, but it is very expensive. Costs up to 800 rupees a liter. There are a lot of industrial applications or bakery applications which requires oil in the saturated form or in the fat form. So that is why the oil technologists have come up with the hydrogenated oil, where the vegetable oil, which is unsaturated and much cheaper, around 100 to 150 rupees a liter, is taken and it is hydrogenated. That is, unsaturated means there is an absence of hydrogen atom at a few places. So we artificially inject hydrogen and we hydrogenate. So during hydrogenation, we could have trans fats also as a byproduct. So that can be very dangerous. So these are the different oil types. The share of this 80% is refined oil, 15 to 20% is filtered oil, and 2% is hydrogenated oil. 50 years back, this ratio was entirely different. Majority of oil, 80% would have been filtered oil, and hardly 10 to 15% of it would have been uh, refined oil. Now, the adoption of refined oil is going on at an accelerated pace, and filtered oil is left to the sidelines. Now, let us look into the human consumption all across the world. So, naturally, the lower income countries are malnourished and they have lesser oil consumption, which is less than 10 kgs a year. India is a developing country. It used to consume less than 10 liters kgs a year, and is now developed into consuming 20 kgs a year. USA and other European countries, which are very well developed and advanced, they consume a lot of oil, so which is at 35 to 40 kgs a year. So the global average is 27 kgs a year per person per capita. So what is the recommended? So let's do some math around this one. So a human body requires an adult requires about 2000 calories of energy in a day. So out of which recommended is about 30% of the energy intake should be in the form of fat. So 30% of 2000 is 600. So in order to consume 600 calories of energy in the form of fat, we require to consume around 70 grams of fat in a day. How did we derive 70? Because the calorific value of oil is 9 calories per gram. So 70 grams of oil into 9 is around 600. So 70 grams per day. Now if we take it to extrapolate it to per year into 365, it comes to more than around 20 kgs a year. So 20 kgs a year is the recommended oil intake. Now, what are the sources of this oil? So it's not only the edible oil that we buy from the market or that we extract ourselves. So there are many more sources of oil into the body. We consume a lot of oil seeds themselves. For example, we eat groundnut as a snack or in our dishes. We also eat a lot of meat in the non-veg cuisines. We buy a lot of food stuff from bakeries. A lot of oil packaged oil fried snacks in the form of packaged uh, food products. Also, we eat at restaurants. Now, all of these contribute to our oil intake. So, we have to budget that before we decide on how much of oil we need to consume in the form of uh, oils. India as a country is not sitting very well in terms of edible oil. The demand for edible oil in the country is, say, we'll do the math. So 140, 145 crore Indians consuming 20 kgs a year. The oil requirement goes up to 2,800, 900 kgs, crores of kgs of oil in year. We are not able to domestically manufacture much of oil that is required in the country. We are only able to produce about 45% oil. The remaining 55% is imported form of palm oil and sunflower oil, soybean oil, and so on. So, importing from other countries is not a very good situation for the Indian foreign exchange perspective. So, the import bill comes to around 1.61 lakh crores. Uh, this is what has happened in the financial year 2025. So though this is just 3% of the total import bill, the majority of the import bill is about crude oil, that is the fuel. Uh, So, but this is a very alarming situation. Now, it is growing at a rapid pace, the imports of edible oils from other countries. It has grown eightfold in the last 2 decades. So, if it is left unchecked, it can become a very significant issue. That is why the government of India, led by its Prime Minister uh, Mr. Narendra Modi, has called for reduction of oil intake by 10% by all households. And this message is further uh, deepened by calling on many influencers to propagate this message. So, what is the reason behind this message? Let's try to dissect that one. Our country's current position with respect to edible oils is not very good. So, what is the government going to do about that? The government is taking a lot of initiatives in that direction. So, the overall objective is to make India self sufficient and not depend on imports for fulfilling the edible oil demand. So, on one side, we have the National Mission on Edible Oils, where the cultivation of oil seeds is encouraged to be made more remunerative to the farmers. So, in this front, one idea is to increase the oil palm cultivation. Now, oil palm has the highest yield uh, in terms of edible oil manufactured per uh, acre or hectare of land used. Also, in the processing side, a lot of technology upgradation uh, and capacity building is happening for processing of edible oils. We ourselves have been a beneficiary of this effort by the government, by the Ministry of Agriculture, Coconut Development Board. They have given us some subsidy for setting up this plant which we are using now. So, very special thanks to the government of India in this regard. Also, farmers invest their money, their labor, and land in building and developing oil seeds. So they need some stability in terms of pricing. So government has started the price support scheme, minimum support price, below which if the market prices go, government will start procuring at that price through NAFED. Also, government has to manage the fine balance between inflation. Government is also managing the import duty by setting right policies at various stages of time. So, if the import duty is increased, consumers will start paying more for edible oils. It will give rise to inflationary pressure in the economy. So, that has to be balanced. And if the import duty is reduced, the domestic farmers and manufacturers they suffer. So, at various points in time, government takes appropriate measures in setting the right import duty. So, it has been doing very well in this trend. India is a major rice producer and consumer. So, along with rice, the husk is the byproduct. So, husk has some oil. So, the rice bran oil is being taken out of that husk. This rice bran oil finds a lot of use as an edible oil as well as for lighting lamps. The government is promoting the use of rice bran oil. And lastly, the call by the Prime Minister of India to cut down our edible oil consumption by 10%. Now, all the above strategies have been to increase the production, whereas the last one is a master stroke. It advises us to reduce our consumption. Now, it is a very strategic and a very good move. By reducing consumption, we avoid the uh, perils of excess oil intake, that is, various cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and many other health factors. So, government will have to spend a lot on managing our health. Also, it will make India self-sufficient. If it is left unchecked, India may double its edible oil consumption in the next couple of decades, and it will be a huge foreign exchange risk as well, wherein the imports will triple or quadruple in the next couple of decades. So we are already at the right level, so it has to be controlled. There are various parameters on which we can measure the quality of an edible oil. So I will list down and explain the top 15 of those parameters. So moisture. So the presence of moisture causes rancidity, that is by accelerating the formation of free fatty acids. So the moisture is advised to be below 0.1%. How can we control moisture? By effective filtration, using of dry oil seeds. Insoluble impurities. The fine particles of the oil seeds left after crushing and other impurities. This is what is meant by insoluble impurities. So this can be easily be removed through filtration. Color. So this is about how light or dark the color of edible oil is in its appearance. So this is measured in the Lovie-Bond scale. There is nothing that says that a darker oil is inferior or lighter oil is superior. It is just people's perception. Odor and taste. Now, this is what when we use and experience edible oils, we get to know through our nose and tongue. Free fatty acids. As I had explained before, this is the most important measure of quality of edible oil and its oil seed. So lower the free fatty acid, the better the oil quality is. So fresher the oil seed is. So double of free fatty acid is acid value. As per BIS, it is advised to measure the acid value. Saponification value. So how easily the oil can be turned into soap with the addition of potassium hydroxide. So different edible oils have different saponification value. Coconut oil has the highest saponification value, that is about 250. Iodine value. So this measures what is the nature of edible oil it is. This helps in detection of adulteration, the presence of another edible oil within the edible oil mixture. Iodine value is the degree of unsaturation in the mixture, in the fatty acid. Refractive index. So edible oil is a liquid. So refractive index measures how dense that liquid is against light. So all edible oils have refractive indexes which are greater than that of water. So refractive index of vacuum is 1, that of air is slightly higher, that of water is 1.33, that of edible oil is around 1.44. Specific gravity, this is the dimensionless ratio of density. This measures the density of the liquid. That is the volume divided by weight, all in SI units. The specific gravity is the measure of density of the liquid to that of water. Viscosity. So how fast the liquid flows on the floor. So more viscous the liquid, lesser it spreads on the floor. Now if you imagine honey, it is a very viscous liquid. Whereas if you look at say petroleum products like petrol, diesel, turpentine, they the liquids with very low viscosity. Unsaponifiable matter. There is those things in the edible oil which cannot be saponified, which cannot be turned into soap. So they are essentially impurities. Fatty acid profile. So any oil is a combination of several triglycerides. So to what extent which triglyceride is available? For example, coconut oil, the most dominant lipid profile is lauric acid of a carbon length of 12. So similarly, we have oleic acid, linoleic acid, palmitic acid, and so on. Smoke point. So the temperature at which oil turns into smoke. Residual solvent. After solvent extraction, if the distillation is not done very well, then some bit of solvent remains in the oil. So this is the residual solvent. So this will be in parts per million figure. Trans fat. In the unsaturated carbon chain, If the hydrogen atoms are in different planes, then it is a trans fat. So this is always artificially generated, never available in nature. Cholesterol. So to what extent the oil has cholesterol? So this could be good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. These are the various parameters with which we measure an edible oil. Now, few of these parameters have been standardized by the Bureau of Indian Standards and then adopted by FSSAI to measure adulteration, the purity of any edible oil. They also specify the way in which these parameters have to be evaluated in order for them to fall in the range.